to the first episode of the podcast from Powerful Women of Harco.
I'm Jillian.
I'm Megan.
I'm Vicky.
I'm Luz.
I'm Heather. And we are missing one member who is Gina Casimir, and she's not here because she's hurting cheek. She's out of town and she'll join us at a later date.
But she's literally
So, Jillian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am a mom of 5 girls. Didn't make any boys. And 4 grandkids. I ran for office in 22. And I think I made a pretty good showing for somebody with no experience. I was the chief of staff in Annapolis for Delegate Andre Johnson, who was the first African-American delegate for this District 34A.
And would you run for office?
State delegate, because I go big or go home.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Megan. I am a mother of one son. He is 10 years old, and I created Harco for Social Justice back in 2020 during the George Floyd protesting.
My name is Vicky, and I live in District F in Havre de Grace. I'm also a council member in Havre de Grace, and I'm the president of the Harford County NAACP.
Hi, my name is Luz, and I have lived in Harford County since 2005, almost 20 years. I have 2 children. My husband and I are proud immigrants. I live in District E, and I am a civil rights advocate.
Hi, I'm Heather. I am the legislative aide for Councilman Jacob Bennett with the Harford County Council. I am also the local group co-lead for Moms to Be in Action, and I volunteer with the NAACP whenever Vicky puts me to work. Some of us did our district, but not all of us did our council districts.
I am Council District B.
I am District D, F, E,
and A, and then Gina, who's not here, is C. So we have them all covered.
Yep. That's right. Yes.
and that was not intentional either.
Or was it?
And that goes towards the theme of having voices that represent across the county, a diversity of voices that can bring in, just different viewpoints that we should be considering in Harvard.
From every place throughout the county.
Yep.
So we should talk a bit about what does powerful mean to you as far as being a woman in Harford County.
To me, powerful just means influential. You're able to put some kind of influence and hopefully positive influence on situations in the county and redirect people who aren't educated on the topics, because a lot of time misinformation leads.
To me, powerful is owning yourself, understanding where you came from, and not to necessarily feel any type of negativity towards that. Always learning, because we're never going to be perfect, and it's okay if we make mistakes as long as we learn from that mistake and move forward and do better.
So when I think of power, I think of awareness and, just kind of, if you can do a lot of listening and watching and being aware, I think that is a lot of power, because you can make decisions, understand where people are coming from. I just think that's the way that I think of it. One of the ways I think of it.
Thank you all. Yes, I tend to agree with everything that's been said. I would only add that to me, power is also kindness. Too often we run across supposedly powerful figures that, in lieu of welcoming and being kind, they try to lead with anger, and I think that this county needs a change from that.
So to me, it's having the knowledge and the information and being able to distribute that. Also learning and growing and helping the county be able to learn and grow, and maybe hopefully influence some of the decisions that are made. What is your specific power in the county? Do you want to keep going first, or you want to?
No, this is Vicky, you first.
What is my power? What is my power in Harford County? I think kind of like what I was talking about when I said awareness. I watch and I listen. And so I think that's that's my power, because I hear a lot of things and I see a lot of things, and I decide when I'm going to use those things for good.
Now, which way is it going?
Go Heather. Go Heather.
I think that I'm able to help educate people about gun violence, about proper storage of weapons, and hopefully I do a good job of like getting out a message that there are places in Harford County that are not equal. There are things going on in the county that need to be changed, and there's more diversity than we think there is, and we need to respect that. And I think that also the job that I have, I think being able to represent a council member when he's not able to be there, I think that is very powerful. I don't always do the best job, especially with public speaking,
great job,
but he trusts me, and I'm really glad that he trusts me. I'm very grateful that he trusts me, and I think that that's a little bit powerful to feel a little bit powerful. And I also have a little bit of what do you call it when you feel like you shouldn't be there? What is that called? Imposter syndrome. I do feel that a lot. So I try to tell myself,
you belong there.
Yeah, you belong there.
I feel like we all kind of have a little bit of that imposter syndrome because Vicky knows I hate talking about the group and saying like, I'm the one, and like I told you guys earlier, I hate saying like I'm the creator of it. I'm just like, I'm an admin. And she's like, no, you did this. Own it. Be proud of it. So it's not just.
So a friend of mine, she told me I did something, and she says, you need to share that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to share it. I don't want to talk about it. And she says, you have to start doing that. When something great happens, you need to share it. And it's not because you're saying, oh, I'm so great, but it's so that you're inspiring others.
Yes.
So when I do put something in social media, it's because I'm trying to inspire others, because how is this world going to change, if we don't all do something?
Okay, so I guess now it's my turn. I feel like my power in the county is like kindness. Everybody always says how nice I am, and I think there's a difference though in between being nice and being kind. So the people that don't know me, they're like, oh my God, you're so nice. Thank you so much. But for me, it's like, so bite your head off. And I will. Like, don't there are moments.
I think that's with all of us. Like, don't mistake my kindness for weakness.
Exactly. So for me, like, nice is kind of like a front. It's like a mask. It's like anybody can be nice in the moment. Being kind is a personality trait. And that is something that I really thrive off of. I think joy and kindness are two of the greatest things that you could be, as far as like personality and expressing yourself to others. And I think it also allows other people to let down their walls and to listen. If you come out and say, oh, well, I don't agree with you on that, and here is why, which I can do. And in some situations it's necessary. However, in most situations, you need to be empathetic and kind and just listen to them and be like, I understand where you're coming from. However, can I please give you the facts? And doing that with kindness and joy and understanding is kind of my jam.
Man,
you're like, no,
you are wrong.
But I know what she's saying.
Point. Like, I'm not going to give you up and be like, oh, let me give you the facts. Nah, you're wrong.
If you don't understand where they're coming from, I cannot just say those words, because some stuff just is not logical.
And I understand that, and I can separate that. Like when people are genuinely like, I have a lot of acquaintances, I wouldn't say friends, but like friends of friends, or co-workers that I'm not necessarily close with, that are like, oh, well, everybody should have access to guns. So this is a very true story. I was at a get together at my friend's house who's very progressive. However, her husband, some of his friends are very right wing, and he's not, I don't want to say the bad right wing, but he's not like gung-ho about it. But he does believe that everybody should have access to guns. And I'm like, okay, but hear me out. You're wrong. And this is why you're wrong. So I told him, like, okay, so you think the person who has schizophrenia and has never owned a gun deserves to have access to an AR-15 and unlimited ammunition. He's like, well, there are certain cases. And I'm like, oh, so you believe in gun control? Well, that's not what I said. Well, it is what you said. Yeah. So it's like trying to, I think, more of like breaking it down. I've also had conversations with women about abortion. She said that she was pro-life, and I was like, okay, elaborate on that. She said, I'm pro-life. You can do what you want, but I'm pro-life. I could never get an abortion. And I'm like, so you're pro-choice, right? And she was like, well, I mean, So like calling people out on that discrepancy, I think is like super powerful.
See, there goes your kindness. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I do it with kindness, but just like doing it in a non-aggressive way, I think allows people to feel more comfortable talking about these topics, because I don't come at them and say, you're wrong, guns are bad, I want to take all your guns away. I don't believe in that.
Right.
I believe, like,
you know, I want to
have a conversation about it, and I believe in proper storage of guns. I believe there are certain individuals who have that right, but not everybody. Not everybody should have a gun, especially these automatic weapons.
Yeah.
So, I will set you straight, and you will catch yourself and be like, oh, well, maybe that's not what I believe. But it's easier to fall into that loop of everybody deserves it.
Well, I've watched Megan do that with the social justice site, because sometimes we have to communicate and talk about some posts or people, and sometimes she's the one who has to go talk to them, because I'm just not in that place where I can have that conversation. And you do a great job.
Thank you.
And then sometimes there's vice versa. When we have to do something hard, then
I'm like, can you help me?
But you're very good, at doing that.
And I appreciate
And
that.
you make people feel like, in a kind way, you're no longer on this page.
Yeah, respectful.
You can go take rights. This is a topic for future consideration. But I want to just, share, and we'll come back to it hopefully in the future, the importance of having people who look like Megan and Heather talk about issues that affect this county. And, Jillian, Vicky have been advocating strongly for years, but unfortunately, I think when the message comes from folks of color, it does not resonate. So hopefully in the future we can have a conversation about how Heather and Megan, you two are Gina, are really important allies in those conversations with your community, your families, your friends.
I mean, yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Heather, you put that down as a topic?
Yes.
Okay. Mental note. If Heather doesn't run it, it's gonna be so long.
It's gonna be a long episode. That's gonna be a long one.
I will be very honest. I have not really involved myself in this county since I moved in 2005, because one, I don't see myself very often when I drive around, when we go out to eat, when we, go shopping. There aren't many people who look like me or my family. So, that's one of the reasons that we, and I personally haven't really made an effort to get to know this county or its people. I will say, in terms of my power, I am a civil rights advocate. I've been doing it for many years for a living. So just share quickly one instance where people in this county saw the ramifications of, showing discrimination, which is, something that I fight against. And I am just blessed because I get paid to do it. But my son and daughter attended a school here, and there was a horrible racial incident while the children were in COVID lockdown. They had, the virtual classes. So during my daughter's class, a child decided that it was funny to type the N-word during English class. All the children were virtually gathered, and this kid just started typing racial epithets against Black folks, Black students. And he did it in such a way, these were like 13-year-old kids, that he could disguise himself. So the school initially said, well, this is horrible. but we don't know who did it. The parents of color, the three of us in the class, decided that that wasn't sufficient. We wanted action. We wanted, consequences. So I drafted a letter that other parents signed, and let's just say that the administration at the school moved forward with an investigation, and in the end, they ended up expelling this child. And I would have felt less joyful about it if that had been the first instance.
Right.
When they discovered who it was. This was a child who had repeatedly used racial epithets. So, in the end, it doesn't matter if your parents are, wealthy, you need to learn consequences. So I feel in many respects, because I am very much, part of a community that is unseen in this county, I'm just now starting to dip my toe in and use the skills that I've been blessed to learn to do positive things here. And perhaps in the future, if things continue, I'll be able to do it a little bit longer. Jillian, now it's your turn.
I'm so happy I'm black. I would say that my power is approachability. I think approachability is a big thing a lot of times, and the willingness to debate. I love a good debate. And I never shy away from that stuff. So I think that a lot of times, whereas, somebody might feel threatened by someone like Vicky or someone like Heather or, any of you ladies, for me, I'm approachable. I'm like, bring it on. And they know I'm very around. I just think that they see me as, I don't want to say not as impactful. You know what I mean? Because that's not what I mean. Yeah. What I mean to say is like they feel like they can come and talk to me, and even though we're going to go back and forth, it's not going to be a detriment to them.
It's true, because I've seen people that do not agree with you come up to you. I don't want to be famous.
Yeah, and talk to me, and reach out to me. I had one of our delegates who definitely, we are on opposite ends of the spectrum, but when there was an issue with African Americans in the community, female, came to me and asked for an opinion, which I thought I appreciated that, because it takes a lot of growth to decide, I'm not going to stay in this bubble forever. I am going to grow, and I am going to try to find someone diverse to get an opinion from, to formulate my opinion, because she was not aware of some of the other things that went on. And I thought that was great. So I think my approachability and the fact that people see me as, when people think of political advocates, they always think you're like this stick up your butt kind of person. And when they see me, they're like, you're into politics?
Yeah.
My kids say that. They're like, I can't believe that you're into politics. Like, you are like so goofy and silly. So they see me and they're like, she's approachable. I can talk to her. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's my superpower.
That is a superpower.
That's something I'm trying to get better at, because I've learned from watching you and watching Jacob, like, you have to talk to people, and there's people that I still like, I do not want to associate with that person. That's hard.
But that's the thing that, a lot of times people tend to stick with what they know and who they know. And if you don't show that we can agree on a professional level and still not be nasty with each other, then what is the goal of what we're doing? You know what I mean? That's the goal, is to get to a point where we can disagree professionally, as long as it doesn't impact your rights. Let me say that, because I don't want to, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, you're for, what did Trump say, aborting babies after they're born?
Oh my God.
I don't want to say that.
There's a lot of misconceptions about people who are involved in politics. I do agree with you. I get a lot of the people.
Don't press it.
You have to press enter.
She doesn't have to press anything. She just has to slide around on it. You see how I just slide around on it?
In case this still is recording and the screen goes off, but the screen keeps timing out, and these two are arguing like Tweedle me and Tweedle don't. So, anyway, right. I don't even know where I was going with that.
What power do you see in the rest of us?
Oh, Lord, that's a lot.
In each person or as a group?
Whatever you want.
I think that's a
Why
lot.
is everybody looking at me?
Okay, what's the power of the group then?
I think definitely diversity.
I was, yep. I was
Definitely
gonna say
bringing
that.
diversity, and it's so funny because in our group chat,
Yeah.
I crack up all the time. I'm like, the white folks be advocating like a mother.
All we have to do is sit back.
So I think that a lot of people in our county probably would appreciate that so much and see the power in that and feel empowered to speak up, but they don't know because we got our own little group chat. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a lot. I remember when I was campaigning, and one of the representatives that actually won was like, "Man, sometimes white people," and she's a white person. You know what I mean? But it was like she just was waiting for someone to feel comfortable enough around to say that. You know what I mean? And just like I would say, when I see people doing crazy things out in public, and I'm like, man, black folks, man, it's like you have to feel comfortable enough to know that there is another person out there that thinks like me. And I think that we give that in our own little group, and our goal is to spread it so that other people feel comfortable with that.
I think our power too is that like we learn from each other. We have so much information, and
In different areas.
right.
I have the least amount, but
No, you don't.
I
I
can
to keep us out of jail.
My response is going to be
Well, I don't think that's the way that you should approach it because you will go to prison.
What's the sentence?
Right.
community service. I can deal with that.
I like to eat too much. I can jail.
But diversity is in the way we look, but it's like also the fact that all of us have that different, you are good at this, you are good at this, and so on and so on. And we know those things. Mm-hmm. So when we're in our group chat and doing other things, we know who's got, like if we need somebody to dig, we know the person who's the best digger in this group.
The FBI.
And we're yes. Like who's going to be able to go on the dark web and do it like in 10 seconds too.
Only when Megan's going for a date.
And I think, it's a superpower, like we're forgiving.
Sure.
I was thinking about saying Megan, like we won't hear from Megan for months. But we know she's we know she's alive, right? And we know she's in the group, and so
Like I'm there, I'm just not there.
Yeah. We allow each other to be ourselves.
Independent.
And independent. Yep.
But we still function well when we get
yes.
together.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
But you're my safe space in many respects.
You
all
are.
are. And sometimes I'll say things where I express myself. And knowing that we have two white women in the chat, I will say things that come, purely like reaction, and I'll say to myself in retrospect, shit, should I have
Who would have thought Luther was the first one to turn? I need my money. I need my money. Okay, no, keep that in there.
It's gonna get real.
Everybody thought it was gonna be me.
Oh, no. But no, I want to just say that if you are lucky enough to have a group of friends who, even if you don't agree on everything, or even if you do, but who allow you to be yourselves without a filter, which you all have, and just know that nothing comes with any sort of, bad intent, and you feel safe saying it. That's a blessing. So that's a power of this group.
Yeah.
It really does make people feel safe.
We should like Steel Planet Fitness's motto. What is it like? The judgment? What is it? Judgment free zone.
They literally have a lunk alarm that, like, if you're slamming weights, we work there will like set off this alarm that's on the wall.
Oh my gosh.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Because then the person slamming the weights are like, oh, my bad. You're like fully embarrassed and stuff.
That is embarrassing.
Yes, not an advertisement. Just saying.
That applies to us.
I
Yes.
think that you guys are so empowering. Like, if I say I want to do something, you guys, oh yeah, you're the biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And probably, I don't know, you probably do say it because you have to say it because you're my friends, but
No, I don't very much say it's something
I can do it.
Yeah, I was going to say too, something is not your thing or with any of us.
Yeah, I think we would say it. I don't think that anybody else would be like sugar.
I mean, she told me I'm not approachable. No.
Now you see how those words are.
That's not what I said. No. But I know there's been times that we all have had something. We're like, let's, even if it's in a nice, kind way.
Yeah.
You know that you say it, but we would tell you, Heather.
Oh, for sure. We'd be like, I admire your enthusiasm. However,
You've been learning from me.
yeah, that sounds very much like her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very empowering.
Yeah.
You group of awesome, powerful people that I admire so much tell me that I can do things a lot together.
you're gonna make me cry.
They're coming in tears too.
Heather's just shy about her own empowerment. But she is so clever. I'm always like, how do you do so much in the community? I could never. It would drain me. Advocacy drains you. Like, I don't know how you got to on a daily basis. I've been off with my whole life.
Seriously, with your boo.
With my
Every Sunday.
Every oh my God. And I stayed this weekend because I love you guys.
I know, I was shocked to hear.
I was. He was driving to North Carolina, and I'm like, I got a podcast.
And Gina's all hurting.
I know.
Right.
So we see who has their priorities. Nah, Gina's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for her to join us because she is just like so wild. She reminds me of like the hippie of the group, like the wild, down
She
for
is
anything,
so wild.
and
Down for anything,
will try anything type of girl.
And say anything.
Oh my God! Sometimes
My
I'm
kind
like,
of girl.
you can't say that. And it's like, all right, I'm good. Never mind. But she's great.
Our last one, name another powerful woman of Harford County.
Are we doing it in this group or?
Another one outside. Outside.
Oh, I'll go first.
No.
Can I go first? I want to go first.
Okay.
I'm probably going to say what everybody else is going to say, though.
Well, that was my fear.
I feel like we're all going to say the same person. Jess.
Oh,
Okay, I was going to say Dr. Felder.
Oh, Dr. Felder! I love it.
But I thought you all were going to say. I was going to say Dr. Felder.
Okay.
Jess Fender, did you hear that?
I think you are
kindness.
I think
And she made my shirt.
Yeah, Jess is just like, she's so cool. Like, I like look at her and I'm like, I want to be like you.
Aww.
Even though she's like only a couple of years older than me, I think. I don't know.
So, but yeah, she's.
Okay, we won't discuss it. Anyways, Jess.
You keep bringing it up.
She's
Jess involved in everything too.
that's what I'm saying. Like, she does everything. Like, you say, hey, Jess, we need support here. And she's like, I'm on it. I got it. I'll bring supplies. I'll be there in 10. And it's just like, it's so cool. Like, she's just a doll. So kind.
So you two picked Dr. Felder. So why?
Yeah.
Well, I can pick someone else. I can pick someone else. Well,
Go ahead. Yeah, we're going to share.
okay, so for Dr. Felder, what I was going to say is it's empowering to know that she holds such a high position and she is also so down to earth. Taking Sierra to that tea party and listening to her story was so important for me having a biracial child who kind of struggles in the middle. You know what I mean? She at some point wasn't feeling like she fitted anywhere. And listening to her, and she also was very like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I can do. And even though as her mother, I'm like, you got me. Like, you can do anything. It didn't mean anything to her until she heard Dr. Felder speak about how she ended up where she ended up. And so I just think that she's so powerful for that reason. And I appreciate her.
And I said Dr. Felder because, and there are several other women I can name as well, but I said her because when you think about somebody who has to navigate every single space in this county, this is her, you know, as the president of the college. And I can't think of anyone else who has to do that. You can say, for instance, the CEO of Upper Chesapeake, who's a phenomenal woman, but she doesn't necessarily have to always be communicating with the school system. But Dr. Felder's got everybody she touches. And so even if she doesn't agree with you, she's still going to figure out how to communicate with you and always win. So that's why I think she's powerful.
And she knows my name now. That's reason the point to say it every time.
Actually, I'm going to say someone whom I recently met, thanks to you, Vicky, because I think that this person is trying very hard and hopefully will have a lasting impact on this county. And her name is Mel Fraschetti. She is a Latina woman whom I met through Vicky, and she is starting an advocacy group on behalf of Latinx kids who are in the military as well as just
That's amazing.
in the public schools, because to have them feel like they're seen.
Yeah,
so
a
Mel,
huge
shout out to you.
demographic.
She is
Mel,
amazing.
Mel.
Yep, she is.
All right, your turn, Heather.
I am going to say, coming from working in the county council and the government side of things, that the highest person we have in office is Jessica Boyles-Ottos. And whether you agree with her policies or not, she has that chance to sit up there and make decisions. And she's the only woman that has that voice.
Yeah,
I am shocked to hear that.
Yeah.
I love that though.
She's my county
Yeah,
representative.
she is.
I think no matter what side of the spectrum you're
Yeah.
on, that's respectable.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we ever had a woman in that position.
Yeah,
I've
there's
been
been
one.
other
There has been.
times
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
and there has been a county executive.
Okay.
Who's a
Really? I did not.
She
know
would be
that.
another one that I would say is a powerful woman in this county. I mean, Eileen did some things.
She's still in the county.
She is.
There's
Mhm.
a
She lives in
state
Happy
senator
Grace.
that lives down the street too. Nancy Jacobs.
Okay, so she's
Eileen lives in Happy Grace.
Hmm.
So we talk now and again, but just
We're
her
full of
stories. Yeah. We do have quite a few
Yeah.
powerful women in this county.
Yeah.
And I think, we want to have some folks come chat with us sometime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is something.
So if you're interested,
We'll have to be invited.
oh yeah.
We're finished.
All right.
the end of this episode. What it took to get us here. It's been a lot.
If you see the outtakes one day, you will appreciate those.
And months of planning and
Oh,
procrastinating. So
It's been over a year.
we hope that you will
I don't think we're
continue.
procrastinating. I think we have lives. And,
Yeah.
and we use our lives to advocate. And we were busy.
Ooh, okay. There you go.
I'll buy that.
We will keep recording and we hope you keep listening. So
Bye, everybody.